In this video, we will replace our stock Coleman AC vent cover with the Wacko Products RV AC silencer. We will do before and after sound level tests and before and after airflow tests that we hope you will find useful. Please know that this video is not sponsored by Wacko. We purchased this kit using our own money, and we provide a link to their website in the description below.
I'm just gonna drive.
This is the RV AC silencer from Wacko Products, model number CA200, and is designed specifically to replace the cover for the Coleman air conditioner. So let's take a look inside and see what the kit includes. We've got the base. It's got some foam sealing around it. And we've got some filters, some screws, and some aluminum tape. And then we have the cover. And it's got some foam insulation on the back of it. Inside this bag we've got a one-page installation instructions. So I guess it should be fairly easy to do. A little piece of foam with some sticky on the back of it. This is the filter. It looks comparable to the ones that were installed on the Coleman. And a bunch of screws and some aluminum tape. First thing I want to do is take a sound reading using my iPhone so that I can do a before and after comparison. I place my phone on the dinette table so that it is almost directly beneath the AC unit. I will also measure the airflow of each of the output vents as well as the input side of the vent cover. See the end of the video for the results. Our Coleman has these bolts that have a spring here, so we have to remove the spring apparently, according to the instructions. We just do it one at a time. You leave this center block in there. Let me take the spring off. These bolts seem to be excessively long. I don't know why they have to be so long. Now there's a couple of holes here, and I'm going to use the aluminum tape that came with the kit to fill those holes. There's an arrow here that we need to point towards the back of the RV. So that's the way that goes. The arrow goes to the back. So far, this is working, but the screw holes don't line up. The screws they supply are not threaded the same way as the old screws were threaded. So things aren't quite working out as planned. I think it'll work. It's just that it's not going according to the directions. For one thing, the directions say that the front of the frame requires 4 1¼ inch screws. They didn't supply those, but they did give us 1/2 inch screws that seem to fit. All right, just know that when you do this, you're not using the same screws. They're not threaded the same as the originals. So if you want to undo this and put your old cover back on, you may have to use the screws that they supplied you. Okay, so we're going to put 2 1-inch screws, one here, and then one here and one here. And that's where the filter is going to be attached. We install them, but we don't tighten them. So there is holes drilled into this metal bracket that holds the AC unit down. There are pre-drilled holes. These screws do fit, but they're wood screws. You have to push hard to get them in. You leave the screws out a little so that you can insert the filter. So the filter goes in with the filter side down. And it should just slide right on there. So just put the filter over the screw and then slide them forward, and that supports that. And I'm just going to tighten those screws up just a little. I don't want to tighten them too much, and I don't want to break the plastic. And the filter's not heavy, so it doesn't need to be really tight. Okay, now we put the cover on. The cover has a piece of insulation right here, and that goes over this opening here. So I can see how this would cut down on some noise. Intake of the AC unit will come from these grates here. And this points to the back of the RV. So you can see how it baffled it. And it is not an exact fit. This cover is a little smaller than the OEM, because you can see this here where the old cover caused the insulation to be indented a little bit, and this doesn't go all the way to the edge here, so I don't like that. Now let's talk about how this installation impacted both sound and airflow. I took before and after sound readings and airflow measurements using the same setup and locations. After installing the silencer, the noise level dropped by about 3 to 4 decibels. Now decibels are logarithmic, so that's not a small change. It represents roughly a 50 to 60% reduction in sound energy. That reduction isn't more dramatic because our ears don't perceive loudness linearly. For most people, sound needs to drop by around 10 decibels, about a 90% reduction in sound energy, to be perceived as roughly half as loud. But noise reduction always comes with a question: what happens to airflow? That's what I measured next. At the intake, airflow dropped from about 3.9 meters per second down to 2.8 meters per second. That's a reduction of roughly 28%. That intake restriction alone explains a lot of the noise reduction. At the output vents, every vent showed reduced airflow. On average, airflow dropped from about 3.38 meters per second down to 2.87 meters per second, which works out to about a 15% reduction overall. Depending on the vent, the losses ranged from around 11% to as much as 25%. So the math tells a clear story. Slowing the air down and restricting the flow does reduce sound, but it also reduces how much air the system moves through the coach. In this case, the silencer made the AC quieter, but the noise reduction came directly from airflow restriction. Now the real question is whether that trade-off makes sense in a day-to-day RV use. For us, the reduced airflow is less of a problem as long as we don't plan to visit Death Valley in the summertime. So that wraps it up. We successfully installed the Wacko RV AC silencer, and we can definitely hear a reduction in noise inside the RV. That quieter sound does come with a trade-off, though, and that's reduced airflow. It's not something you'd necessarily notice day to day, but our measurements clearly show that it's there. Whether that trade-off is worth it really depends on how you use your RV and what matters most to you. If you've installed an AC silencer in your RV, let us know in the comments below if it made a big difference for you. Thanks for watching, and join us next time as we head to Point Judith, Rhode Island and explore Fisherman's Memorial State Park.